Great.
Kanan, as you know, we have a contractual arrangement with Comcast that will enable them to put their share of Hulu back to us in early 2024.
Here we go.
Big one here.
Starting in early 2024, there's a, I guess, further right that we have to call their share from them. And it's not really been fully determined what will happen in that regard, except that as we've looked more and more at the growth of the future of our streaming business, and I mentioned at the first earnings call that I did after I came back that everything was on the table. And in fact, everything was on the table, but I've now had another 3 months to really study this carefully and figure out what is the best path for us to grow this business. And it's clear that a combination of the content that is on Disney Plus with general entertainment is a very positive, is a very strong combination. From a subscriber perspective, from a subscriber acquisition, subscriber retention perspective, and also from an advertiser's perspective.
That means then you got to buy out
Hulu.
Hulu.
Where we are headed is for one experience that would have general entertainment and Disney Plus content together for the reasons that I just described.
There you go.
David Zaslav's still waiting for a thank you card.
In the hands of Comcast and in the hands of basically a conversation or a negotiation that we have with them. I don't want to be in any way predictive in terms of when or how that ends up. I can say we've had some conversations with them already.
Well, of course you
They've
have.
been cordial, and they're aimed at being constructive. But
You wouldn't be announcing this kind of
I
streaming
can't
merger
really
with
say
Disney
where they
Plus and
end up,
Hulu
only to
content if you
say
hadn't.
That there seems to be real value in having general entertainment combined with Disney Plus, and if ultimately Hulu is that solution, we're bullish about that.
Especially when Bob Chapek talked about last year. Wait, hang on.
Let me address your question.
Bob Chapek talked about last year how
Parks earnings growth
50%
and the outlook
of the
there.
subs
So,
to Disney
I think
Plus
the
were
way I would
no
phrase this is,
child
we
adults,
do
like
expect
just
a
adults
really
with no
solid
kids.
year overall
That's
for our
the
domestic
demographic
parks.
they have to satisfy.
That being said,
On the Hulu thing real quick before I hit the Super Chats, and I was thinking about this during the call. I think that Bob Iger danced around the issue of the whole Hulu thing because there were multiple questions during that Q&A session regarding what you doing with Hulu, what you doing with Comcast, right? Or at least if not directly, they were indirectly, they were certainly implied heavily. I don't think that Bob Iger wants to answer that question right now. I think he left it as a very mild, well, of course, we've been talking to Comcast. Well, no kidding. I mean, that's like saying the sun will rise in the east. No, we know you've been talking to Comcast about this.
Right, you got that new car in your driveway. What's it doing there? Well, we've been talking to the dealership.
Yeah, so the point is that I think the reason that he is deliberately trying to avoid this is twofold. Number one, he doesn't want to say anything that is not official at this point. You know, if and when that time comes, and I think it's more of a when at this point than an if, that will be announced. It will be announced at that point. But number two, I also think that Bob Iger certainly does not want to even suggest on an earnings call right now, given the state that Disney is in, save its parks, okay, that he is, and the Walt Disney Company is, about to commit to what would almost certainly be about a $10 billion purchase.
And that's the minimum, correct?
Well, $9 billion roughly would be the minimum, so it's going to be probably 10 plus, maybe 11, 12, who knows, because that's the negotiation. And when Bob Iger says we're talking to Comcast, that's what he's talking about. They're discussing what are going to be the terms of this sale. That's what he's talking to Comcast about right now, I promise you. How much do you want? Comcast is going to say something like, we want 15. Disney's going to say, we're going to pay you 9. They're going to have to meet somewhere in the middle. But I don't think he wants to put that onto an earnings call right now with Disney doing massive layoffs and
not a good
content
time,
spend cuts. No.
If he got that question
they're
after
going to do it. They're going to do it, but they don't want to bring it up right now with what's
like
going on.
asking what kind of flowers you're going to put in the house as it's burning. So what drapes you going with?
Rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, folks.
That's right.
Nero fiddles while Rome burns. But no, I think that's kind of the gist of it. So